And we're live with Chana Mason. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. I am super excited. You probably see it on my face. Tell us what you do, who you are, and why everybody needs to know you.
Let me turn off my phone. So my name is Chana Mason. I'm a vitality coach, and I love helping people increase their physical and emotional and mental vitality through learning tools that they can apply to their life on a daily basis, be they lifestyle tools or mental tools or mindset tools. And I just get really jacked up about it.
That is awesome. Can you tell people who don't know what vitality means? Because that's a big word. I feel like it's important to break it down.
So we all I was trying to find okay, how do I put all of the things that I do into one word? And vitality is really how alive you feel, like how much vital force is in you. So when, you're walking down the street and it's all concrete, yet there's this tiny little crack in the concrete and you see some funky grass growing there. That is the vital energy, right? You can use heebie-jeebie language like that, but it's just everything is just dying to grow and thrive and reach towards the sun, reach towards light, reach towards something greater. That's our natural state. But sometimes, either because we engage in behaviors that dampen us, or because we have mental processes that hold us back, we miss out on experiencing that just life force that's constantly running through us at all times. So that's what I love to help people do.
I love that. Yeah, I just think of it as be most alive. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, cool. Okay, so come on, try it on me. I'm all excited.
I'm ready. So I know that you and I are really excited about this course that's coming up on Sunday.
I am so excited.
I'm happy to share with you a tool that I get particularly excited about that comes from neurolinguistic programming that we've included in the course. So this is a little bit of a sneak peek, which I didn't even ask my permission for, but hopefully it'll be okay. So the course is called Dream Design Manifest, and it's based on our book, The Size of Your Dreams. Right. And you can share, you've got some download links. You can share those with the people in the comments or whatever.
Yeah, I shared that already.
Great. Of how they can download a free copy of the book. And in the course, we help people clarify a vision for their life and manifest it. And along the way, one of the things we've learned is that people struggle to have the courage almost to actually dream. And then it's scary for people to go after their dreams because the fear of disappointment is so massive for so many of us that we'd rather do nothing than be disappointed if we try and things don't work out. So for me, and this was something that my husband had less of a hard time understanding, but I know this in my kishkas, right? I know it in such a deep way. This
funny that you said kishkas because that brings up digestion. I digest life. And it's totally like that. Yeah, so go on. I love that.
Yeah, so this fear is something I know in a really deep way. The fear of disappointment is definitely my biggest block. And so I wanted to make sure that we included in the course resources that we could hand to people that they could use to infuse themselves with more light and more courage. So, so one of those tools is learning about what gets ourselves into a peak state. So I'm going to give you an example that we learned from Tony Robbins. I want you to throw your hands up in the air like this and really stretch them as high as you can. Get your posture really high and put a smile on and start talking about something that normally makes you sad.
What makes me sad?
Or frustrated or angry.
Now I have to think about it. You're talking to a very happy person here.
Something that annoyed you last week.
Shandy, can I use the Opana as an example?
No.
No?
Mama.
We're live and Shandel gave her no permission to talk about her. Yeah, she gives permission. Okay, we're doing it.
Go for it.
Okay.
With a smile on your face, your hands up in the air. Keep them up.
Okay.
Go for it.
I'm really frustrated that my daughter doesn't have a high school yet. Can you see the smile on my face?
So one of the things that I noticed was that you kept having, like, your arms wanted to go down, and then you're like, oh yeah, I need to keep them up. So you thrust them back up again. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, you can relax. So you'll notice that when your hands are up in the air, it's actually really easy to smile. It's really difficult not to smile. Like, throw your hands up in the air and try to frown.
It's uplifting. 1 second. I can't frown.
Right? It's almost impossible. So one of the things about being a human being is there's certain things that are wired into that's just part of what it is to be human. In the same way that there are laws that are wired into nature. Like, if I have an apple and I let go of it, it's going to drop. It doesn't matter whether I believe in gravity or not. Gravity is going to do its thing. It could care less about my feelings or what I'm thinking or whatever. It's going to do its thing. So
this is the whole thing with the pencil and the smile.
Yeah. So in that same way,
pencil in your teeth, you're physically smiling. It boosts your happiness.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay, wait. Well, this thing is backwards, so it's kind of hard to keep track. Okay.
Hands up. My sister's here.
Yay. Hey, sis. So when we're holding certain physiological postures, we can't help but experience what Tony Robbins calls a peak state. Okay. There are two other things that help us get into a peak state, or that define our state in general. So one is how we hold our physiology.
Yes.
Another is what we choose to focus on. And the third is language. Okay? Yeah. So if you're thinking about your daughter's high school and you're trying to figure out a high school solution for her, and there you are, you're like looking for a high school solution for her, and you're holding a down physiology. And what are you focusing on?
The fact that she doesn't know what to decide.
Okay. And what else do you have to focus on in order to feel down?
Oh, down? That I did a lot of work on this. I was really upset with the system. I'm not anymore.
So you're focusing on all the things in the system that aren't going your way.
Right. The whole thing is just wrong.
Right? Okay. So now throw your hands up in the air. And think about your daughter's high school situation with your hands up in the air. Do you notice any shift in your focus?
Yeah. Well, first of all, she's right across from me on the table. And so my focus is on how capable she is and how awesome she is and how it really does not matter what school she ends up in.
So that's the cool thing is that all of these three things, focus, physiology, and language, they kind of play together and they affect each other. So you can put your arms down. So one of the things that Tony Robbins does at his events, at his live events, is he'll ask someone, he'll ask the audience, who here is depressed? And then he'll ask them, what do you have to do to get yourself depressed? And then he'll tell them a joke and they start laughing. And he's like, no, go back to being depressed. Okay, show me, how do you do that, right?
I've seen him do this.
And the whole entire crowd we're all watching, we're all students of watching how this person is getting themselves depressed, right? And it's like, okay, so their physiology has to be down.
Right.
They have to focus on what's not working.
Right.
And on things that are fearful and what's dark in the space, right? And then language can also have a huge effect on us, right?
Sure.
So before
as you can be saying different things to the same exact reality.
Yes. So what you did when your physiology was down and you were talking about the high school, you started talking about the system and all of these bad things about the system. You may or may not have noticed it, right? But even the word system feels very heavy because it feels like this amorphous, huge, super beyond human blob that's scary, whatever.
Beyond human. That's exactly what it is. It's like you create this thing. Yes.
But then when your arms were up, what you chose to focus on was your daughter. And then your focus became like a lot smaller on things that you appreciate and that are beautiful.
Awesome. She is beautiful.
So one of the things I notice in my clients who have a habit of being in a down state is that they pay zero attention to all of the small things in their lives that are really rich and beautiful.
Right.
And they make the small things in their life that are frustrating, they make them really big.
Yeah, we talk about this. I have a class. I just put it up on this week on YouTube called The Recipe for Happiness. And the recipe for happiness is grateful and overcoming. It's like that two-sided coin. Like either you're grateful for what you have or you're working, like you're overcoming something difficult and you're really proud of yourself. But like there is no room to focus on something negative. Because if it's negative, then you're proud of yourself that you're overcoming it. If it's positive, then you're grateful and you keep going. It's like you're just happy all the time.
Sweet. Yeah. And a lot of that has to do with how you choose, like what language you choose to tell about the thing that you just called negative. Right? So one of the things that I've shifted in my language is rather than talking about something being a problem or being wrong or being broken, I call it a challenge. For me, the word challenge, and everyone is a little bit different in how they relate to language, but for me, the word challenge feels like an invitation towards overcoming.
Yeah. Yeah, because
it's like, there's an obstacle, but I can do it. It's a challenge, but it's not impossible.
Right. So, Miriam Adahan was here 10 years ago, and she was talking about the way the brain works and what turns on the chemistry in the brain to celebrate. And overcoming a challenge is the thing that makes you the happiest. It's one of those things that turns on the biggest party in your head with sparkles and sprinkles and balloons and everything and the most awesome music. And we're so used to shutting it down because it's like, big deal. So you did the dishes? Like, everybody does the dishes.
But even more so, we try to keep our lives small and avoid challenges and discomfort, missing out on the concept that those challenges are the key to that party.
Course. Yeah.
That party's so good.
Oh, that party's awesome. And you want to keep it alive by you keep doing it. And you choose to get out of your comfort zone for growth because it feels so good. Like you get to the point where you turn it all around. And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, it all fits in so beautifully. Because we were just talking with one of my friends was calling me with something, or like we were talking about how like you keep keeping yourself in this comfort zone because you don't believe that there is anything different. Like the size of your dreams, that's exactly what it is. Like you have no dreams because you're hopeless and you're just like staying in this comfort zone and it's not even comfortable. Just get out,
It's not comfortable. It's very small and yucky and it's a discomfort that we know. So it's theoretically comfortable because we're used to it, but it doesn't feel good.
Right.
Not really what we want.
I don't know if you saw I made a 3-minute video on the mindset shift we need for COVID-19 when it just started. And it was all about how like when you're in the middle of birth and you're like at the worst part where it hurts the most. And it's like, you're that close to the end. You're like, oh no, it hurts too much. Let's just go home, put the baby back. Bye. I was happy being 9 months pregnant. And like, no, you weren't. You couldn't breathe. You were wobbling. You were humongous. But like, you rather that than having to go through the birth to get to the other side. But like, we do it because we know in our head that like the other side is better and we have proof and we know that this is part of this, nature. And like, we're going to get to hold the baby and be all, on the other side. But like, when we have dreams, we don't see it like that. It's not so obvious that the other side is guaranteed to feel better.
So like, that's why clarifying that dream and keeping your eye on the prize is so helpful. So like really successful athletes picture that, they picture the baby on the other side and they're very good at it. So that's something that we are really passionate about also in teaching people through our note cards. So
I love the idea of cards. Go ahead. Tell us about
they're
the
so
cards.
simple. They're inexpensive. There's just these little cardboard pieces of paper, right? And we have 3 different types of note cards that we teach in our book, The Size of Your Dreams. And they're kind of like the pins through which we're going to follow our course. But the course teaches all of these other techniques beyond that.
Are we going through all 3 of the cards through the 6-week program?
Yes. So 2 weeks are dedicated to each of the cards.
Okay, awesome.
And the concept of a card, it's like so simple, right? So we have a goal, we have an outcome card. You just write a goal at the top. You say when you're going to accomplish the goal and you write some steps. Like I could teach you that in 5 minutes.
Right.
The question is, how do you create the whole world around that, right? How do you give yourself the resilience and the confidence and the resources to make that happen? How do you get the support of a mastermind around you? How do you even know what really are the goals that you're reaching for that are in alignment with who you are as a human being and where you're meant to go? So I can share with you my current outcome card goal, right?
Let's hear it.
And I realize now that the next time I do it, I'm going to write it differently.
Why?
So I'll tell you in a minute why.
Okay, awesome. I'm listening.
So the top of my goal is that I intend to have 50 students enrolled in this coming course by June 7th, which is Sunday. And then under that, I put the steps that I was going to do in order to accomplish that goal. And then I remembered literally only yesterday that my favorite outcome card that my husband has written, he wrote, when did he write it? Months ago, when we first published our book, The Cash Machine. And he wrote this card that said that he intends to help at least 10,000 people transform their financial picture by the end of the year.
Okay.
And what?
How can he measure that? Because
that's a really good question. That's a really good question. We're partly going to measure it based on the feedback we get from readers and, to a certain degree, understanding that a certain percentage of readers actually finish books and follow through on them, and us understanding the data behind that.
The average, even if somebody buys the book and didn't read it, but somebody bought the book and then gave it to their whole family, it evens out.
Right. So in any case, why the 2 goals feel so different to me is that in one goal, I was just focused on how many people enroll in a course. In the other goal, the focus is so much on impact and how you change the world. And just thinking about affecting 10,000 people's financial picture gives me such a high. Picturing 50 people signing up for a course, it's okay, but it's not the same. And so if I were to rewrite the card,
why?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the key, that I think that when we have a clear vision of us having an impact on the world in a way that feels rich and meaningful, it's so exciting. Then we do know the baby on the other side.
Okay, so now rewrite your card in a way that would make sense now with this understanding.
I intend to facilitate at least 50 people's transformation through my course.
That's amazing. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's actually part of my identity card. So we have these other kind of cards called identity cards where we teach people how to really boost their identity by writing a card of qualities that you have, or qualities you see in other people that you want to grow within yourself. And so
I have them ready, then you for sure have them.
So being about transformation is one of them, so being I think I put transformational diva, so it's like that's so much of what my life is about, transforming myself and facilitating other people's transformation. So that's awesome. So exciting.
That is awesome. Okay. Tell me about the transformation. What can I expect? Because I'll tell you what happened. A couple of days ago, a friend called me and said, I know this is your specialty, helping women with their husbands and, their marriages. I actually need your help and I can't pay you. Will you talk to me? I was like, of course. I talk to anybody who calls me. Like, I always will make sure to at least give, like, the free discovery call, because, like, why not? I can help someone. And I know I can help someone even just in one sitting, because I can give them tools to at least survive until they want to do something with it. So, and I really was very happy about it. I scheduled her in and we talked. And she said all the wrong things that are in with her husband, with her marriage, and how she shouldn't have married him. And she's made such a mistake, and she's already married 15 years. So there's no hope, and it's just finished, and whatever. She was so stuck. And I felt so bad for her. I'm like, but do you realize that there's hope? How would it look like if you were connected for real? And she looks at me and says, what does that even mean? Like, connected for real, when you're like 100% there with your husband, with yourself, with Hashem. Like, you're not thinking of what should be and what other people are thinking or anything. You're just so connected. And she's like, I don't know. I don't even think that's possible. And it was amazing how impossible it was in her mind. And I spent half an hour from our like hour and a half conversation, like half an hour just explaining to her what I mean, like what I see that is possible. And she was like, I hear the words you're saying. It's just not computing. There's absolutely no way that in my situation, in this stage of my life, with this amount of kids and with this husband that I'm stuck with, that I will one day be excited that he walks in and, tell him how happy I am that he's part of my life. All these things sound so like out of my even
realm of possibility.
She couldn't even dream it. So I gave her homework to journal on it and dream big. Be like, this is what's going to happen if you transform. But like, what do you do when you can't dream big because you're so stuck? I mean, obviously, then you get somebody like me to help you.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you do? It's a good question. What I love to do, there's an exercise I actually did yesterday that I love, that I call the obstacle course. And nice. The reason I did it yesterday was I was meeting with a client in Europe who is a student of mine in one of my courses, an absolutely beautiful soul, and happens to have evolved so much as a human being that they really enjoy just being in the present moment. They could just be in the present moment and bask in it with like no qualms or problems whatsoever. At the same time, there's something about the size of your dreams that was really compelling to this person. And they were trying to figure out, like, how can you be fully in the present moment and yet at the same time strive for more?
Okay.
And the best answer I was able to offer them was that there's something about the desire for growth that is innate, right? It's the same, the blade of grass, right? It's innate to the human condition. It's innate to the whole world is just searching to evolve. And in order to evolve, that means you have to be going towards something.
For sure. Also, if you're not going,
can you do it whilst being in the present moment, right? In the present moment, you're enjoying the process of going there.
Right.
So we did this exercise because they were still totally stuck. So I said, I want you to picture, and I knew this person really wanted to work on teaching and being a public speaker. Okay. So I said, I want you to picture yourself, you're teaching a group of people, and they were like, oh my gosh, I just feel so much joy. It's so alive. The people are engaged. It's beautiful. Like, I totally believe that. I felt like I was there with him. It was just like such a beautiful experience to share that. Right. And then they said, and I said, okay, so now I want you to notice that you're here and the vision is in front of you. Is there something between you and the vision? And they said, yeah, there's like a glass wall. And I said, okay, what does the glass wall have to say?
I love that. I was thinking that.
And they sat for a moment and they said, you know what? I have it right here. Hold on. Give me a second because it's a beautiful list. Okay. They said, the people don't need me. They can move forward without me. That I'm not enough. I'm not important. Who am I to do this? What, do I think I'm special or something?
Yes.
And so we used the tools of inquiry that I teach in my book, Hold That Thought. We use those tools to question his thinking. What?
Are they based on Byron Katie's?
Yes, to a certain. So Byron Katie is a massive inspiration for that book, but I take it a whole other level. I also use some Stephen Covey and some Barry Neil Kaufman in that book. And so yeah, we use Byron Katie's inquiry process to question his thinking.
Right.
And he realized, so we worked on this one belief that they could move forward without him. He's like, whatever, if it's not me, they'll find some other teacher. And he really, he really questioned that and explored other ways of thinking around this thing, and realized that the fact that they'd shown up in that room was their way of saying that they couldn't move forward without him, and that he couldn't move forward without them. That somehow their souls had kind of decided to show up at this time and at this place and move forward through life together.
I love
and
that.
I got an email hours later saying there's so much vitality running through his body. He's like, he feels so alive, so excited, so engaged to engage, so excited to engage with life. And it's already affected his day.
Yeah.
And his encounter with other people. So that was really powerful. That was really cool.
You know what? Those messages are the best. Because 2 hours after I spoke to this girl for free, because I love her, I get this amazing voice message. You don't understand. My husband just walked in and I told him what I really think, that he can do it. And he's amazing. And he's going to end up at the top of the company and this and that. And we are, and I'm so appreciative that he works hard and he cares about me and da-da-da. And I was like, this is not what you were saying before we started. But she's like, you opened my eyes, and it made me feel so good, because that's all I had to do. Most of the time, my sister says you guys are so similar. We are. First of all, look at the colors we're wearing, and we did not work this out. And we do. That's one of the things that magnetizes me to your work, is that you're so exactly what I feel like I'm on the same journey, except you're ahead. One of my biggest dreams is to do a retreat, a family retreat where families could go together. Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. And when I heard you were doing a retreat, I'm like, oh, can I go?
I really want to do a retreat this summer here in Israel. I'm waiting for Corona to.
Oh my gosh, that'd be
chill
amazing.
Out.
That would be amazing. So yeah, the ability to just open someone's eyes and not change anything in the reality. I don't have to change anything. I just have to tell them to look at reality a different way.
Yeah.
And that's what you were doing with this guy. You reminded me, by the way, I have a video coming out next week about me being scared of speaking in public and being on camera. And
look at you. You look so comfortable.
I had to go through a real process, because it was very similar. I went to, I have a teacher who is a friend who's a teacher and an artist, and she did this art therapy thing on us just for fun. And we had to draw ourselves in this, the biggest fear that we have. And then after we drew it, and I wish I had it here, but I don't. After we drew it, we had to flip over the page and draw what it would look like without the fear. And then from that, pull out all the different things, the little fears of what are people going to say? What are people going to, what am I going to say? What's going to be whatever? And break it down. And after that, I did my first video. That was over a year and a half ago.
Because once you saw it,
I was like, you're right. You know what? I don't have to know what to say. I'm just going to say what Hashem wants me to say. He putting words in my mouth anyway. I don't have to plan it out. I usually don't know what is going to resonate. I just go with whatever comes.
beautiful.
And what are people going to say? What do I care? I'm not controlling them.
Yeah, yesterday I posted a video No makeup, no jewelry. Like I was literally, my face was still all groggy from having woken up in the morning, but I just had this thought and I shared it. And it's gotten shared by like 10 different people and it's gotten over 500 views. And I just posted it last night. And I haven't had a video get 500 views in like a year.
Wow.
And I was just such like, you know what I mean? It's like all of the rules, I broke all the rules and it didn't matter.
But that's exactly what we were talking about that. A lot of, because it came up that like people really don't believe that they can fix their part of marriage. And I'm here to be like, you can, and you will, you know, if you want it hard enough and you could see that it's possible, you're going to get it. And it's going to be so much more amazing. Because when you got married, there was the sparks and all the excitement. But
and you had this vision, but it's just keeping that vision in check.
It wasn't deep, it was very shallow. You didn't know each other. There wasn't life. It was like, yay, there's sparks, but they're external. You know, they're like, they're sparks. But like when you work hard and you go through life and you're like, something's wrong. I'm not feeling it. I want to make it. You know, I want to do this. I have this vision of like having an amazing marriage and I'm going to make it work. And then you actually reach it. It's on a completely different level because you feel like we were talking about before, like you overcame and the party is like rocking there.
It's a rocking party. Totally. Yeah, we feel that a lot because we've gone through a lot in our marriage. It's like so cool to see how far we've come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the coolest thing I was talking to a friend about the growth card because I was saying that one of the coolest things about the growth card, it's almost like you break through the ceiling just to realize that's the floor to the next level. And like, the transitions just keep coming. And then you get excited about getting to the next level. Like the first level is hard, it's scary. And then the next one's like, oh, okay, we can do this. So, yeah, tell me about the course more. I wanna get excited about it. I'm already
awesome. It's interesting because like we reviewed the curriculum earlier this week and I was like, oh, this is so awesome. Because we put the curriculum together like a year ago. And actually filmed the whole course. We were in Ecuador. We filmed the whole thing back when my husband was scared of getting in front of the camera. And Dave wouldn't get in front of the camera. So he's like, you need to do the whole thing. So we filmed the whole thing with only me in front of the camera. And then that month, Dave started getting in front of the camera for the first time. And he really had to psych himself up every single time. He had a whole song and dance that he would do. And now he's got in front of the camera every day for over a year. Wow. And so he's like, oh, of course. He's like, this is my stuff. Like he came up with a lot of these tools. He's like, I'm not going to not be in front of the camera. It's my class. So it was really great. So to review that, is it
going to be live?
Really exciting. It's going to be live.
It's not pre-recorded.
It's not pre-recorded. We quite specifically decided to do it live because we want to really engage with everyone, give everyone support, be there, you know, creating a lot of feedback. And we also want to see how we can get better. Because we created the curriculum kind of in a vacuum and we know the tools are really powerful. But a lot of times when you teach something, you realize like, oh, I could tweak this, I could tweak that. So we were excited about doing it live.
That's one of my things is when Corona hit and I started doing live classes on Zoom, people were asking me to record them. And first of all, because there's other people on the screen, I didn't feel comfortable posting other people's questions and their faces, whatever. So then I re-recorded the class and put it up on YouTube. It's never the same. It's really good, totally worth watching, but there's something so amazing about having to answer people's questions or things coming up in the middle or just like saying these tangents that come up because you see someone's face.
And also just feeding off of people's energy, which, you know, exactly. I've been on stage and an educator for years, but I never, until I just finished teaching another course, never would have occurred to me that teaching on Zoom, would I be feeding off people's energy? Oh, and yeah. I am. It's amazing. Like, you know, certain people, I see their face, they calm me down. I see other people, their face, they get me all excited and engaged. Like, it's just so fascinating. So, so this course is going to be 6 weeks.
Sorry. What? There was one lady who was in one of my Zoom classes and she says, you break through my screen. Like, how did you do that? I don't understand. It feels like you're right here and there is no screen.
It's amazing, right? I mean, that's how I feel. I feel like I'm in your kitchen, so that's great. So, so the course is going to be 6 weeks.
Okay.
On Sundays, starting at 7 p.m. Israel time, which is noon America time, for 2 hours every Sunday. We have a private Facebook group. We're going to give each other support. Our big thing is that people should join the course with a buddy.
Right.
So that they have somebody to be held accountable to. You get held accountable to the entire mastermind, but there's something about having a buddy. You know, they can help you with your homework. They can help you with processing. That's something we're really excited about.
So I'm doing that. I got so excited about the buddy system that I created an entire buddy group. Anybody who wants to be a part of my buddies is welcome to come join. I was thinking, I'm not going to stick to it if I'm just doing it for myself, because I know myself and I know how much I love helping other people. And even in school, when we were learning math, I was teaching the math to the kids who needed help so that I could learn it better. And they thought I was doing them a favor. And I kept explaining to them that actually this is the way I learn, is by teaching. So I had to do it. So I'm very excited. I think I already have like 5 people in my buddy system.
Very cool.
Yeah. We're going to meet on Thursdays at 8:00 at night.
Nice. That's amazing. You hearing, guys? Join Bat-Chen's buddy system. It's totally worth it.
Yes. Whoever wants can just send me a message.
Very cool.
Okay. So keep talking about your course.
So we're going to take people through guided visualizations, processes in NLP, teaching people how to function in a mastermind. We're going to be facilitating the mastermind. We're going to be facilitating people's cards. One of the things that's really interesting to me is these note cards. They're so easy to write. And yet when I've taught them, people really struggle to write cards that are compelling and effective. So that's something we're going to be working on, teaching people, like, what language compels you? What language drives you? How do you write steps that are attainable? How do you recruit the people around you to be a part of your process and help move you towards your goal? Maybe they have steps that they can recommend, or maybe they're willing to hold you accountable to your steps, or they have resources that will just help you get one step ahead of the way. One step ahead, sorry. So that's exciting.
That's cool. What?
Oh, I'm seeing your link. Cool. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. I linked it up. You finally found the comments. I'm very proud.
So what I highly recommend is that people read the book ASAP, so they get a taste of what this amazing story is about. It's a really quick read, super fun.
So you know what happened after we spoke on the phone and I said, I don't like ebooks, I want to get the real book. I posted to all my friends that I'm doing this this buddy system. My friend who lives 1 block down shows me a picture of the 2 books, The Hold That Thought and The Size of Your Dreams, and says, you won't believe it. I met her and bought her books in one of the fairs, and I forgot about it. And now that you reminded me, I'm going to sit down and read them.
Oh, so, no way.
Wait, can I borrow it first?
So it would be cool if you want. We have certain people in different parts of the country who sell our books. So if you want to be like a local, you know, in your region of the country, if you want to be a local distributor, we can get like a whole pile of books your way.
Oh, you know how many books I have in my house right now that need to be distributed? 800 or something. Because my husband wrote a Haggadah right before Pesach. It was supposed to be in stores. We brought the Haggadah. Like Dabri Shir took 400 copies and was going to put it in all their stores. And then coronavirus hit the day after we gave them the books. Right before Purim. We gave them the books right after Purim. The whole place shut down. They hit the stores, like the goal, my outcome goal, which I didn't know was called that, was get the books on the bookshelves in stores. I made it, except nobody saw it because the bookstores were all closed. So they gave us back all the books, and now they're all in my house. But the cool thing is that, we actually reached our goal, which was completely crazy. Like, I made a video about it, how insane writing a Haggadah is and how we didn't think it was doable. But the other cool thing is we got a sponsor to start working on the English. So for next year, we'll have Hebrew and English, and it's just like so cool how things move along, even when you think it's being stopped. Like,
but also like, that's one of the things that we're really cautious about in people talking about the movie, The Secret.
Okay.
So The Secret says it's like based on Napoleon Hill. But if you actually read Napoleon Hill, which is not easy to do because his writing is a bit dense and he uses a lot of, he pulls from a lot of anecdotes from his day, which is like 100 years ago. You have no idea who he's talking about. And he assumes you know who all these people are. And it's a little confusing.
Okay.
But Napoleon Hill was so focused on, yes, you need to have a vision, but you need to focus on the steps that you need to get there. And the Secret is all about, all I have to do is like picture my Lamborghini and then I'm going to have a Lamborghini in my life. And I don't need to think about what I need to do to get there. And I'm also not in a conversation with God, right? Like there's no divine intervention in my life whatsoever. So it's not like, I'd like to have a Lamborghini, but I'm going to be open to whatever the universe or God or the divine or whatever you call it manifests itself into your life. It's just kind of like a shutdown experience, which is really not.
I love one of the things. I have a question for you about the multiple cards, but one of the things it just reminded me of is Kate Northrup has a book called Do Less. Do you know her? Do you know that book?
Yes, but I don't know the book.
Okay, it's a whole book about how to do less, and basically she has, when you're planning your week, one of the things is I call it Hashem, but like the universe's to-do list, where she gives her like things on her to-do list that she has no control over, that she just wants Hashem to take care of. I thought that was so brilliant. Like, here you go. Take care of this for me, please. Thank you. It's called delegating. I thought that was very cute.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's some holy chutzpah.
I think it's just cute how she she doesn't see how it connects, but like it really is. It's this open conversation and realizing that you're not in a vacuum, like you're here for something. So I always say, if I'm here, Hashem wants me to be here. He put me here for a reason. If I'm connected to that reason, which I think is your identity card, the why of like, why am I here? What am I here to do? Is that the identity card? More like
the identity card is much more about who I am. Like what are the qualities that I bring into the world?
Okay, but I think that's along the same lines of like Hashem gave me all these qualities because he wants me to do something with them, and then your dreams line up with that because here I am. I need to be doing something, so I might as well do what I need to be doing.
Right.
And then there's this amazing thing where like, if I'm doing Hashem's work, then Hashem wants to give me the tools to succeed. Like he's showing me the way. It's like, it just feels like you're working together and not in a conflict. You're making it happen. Okay. What do you say about multiple cards? Like, what if I have a lot of dreams and I want to just get it all? I am one of those people who just like, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do a million things.
So I think it really depends on the person. For me, I like to have one of each card at a time and not more, because then I get overwhelmed because I have a lot of the fear stuff that comes up for me. So just having cards at all is a challenge. For other people, the cards are really fun. It's like play. So I don't think there's no hard and fast rules. Sometimes my husband has 5 or 6 cards at a time, but I think if you want to be reading your cards multiple times a day, if you have a stack this big, then you've kind of set yourself up to fail on the actual note card process, So there's something about just focusing, like what's your one thing that you're going to do? So I noticed for myself in focusing on this course, I've taken a lot of other goals and just put them on the side burner.
But do you write them anyway? Like, do you write your cards and then put them on the side burner? Or do you say, I'm not even thinking about them?
Well, that's a good question. I don't write them as cards, but I have them as goals.
Okay.
Yeah. There's something about the card process that's like very focusing for me. It's like, okay, this is center, this is center, this is center, because I get really distracted into other things, as we all do. Yeah. I think each person's really unique and different. And that's one of the things I'm excited to see in the group, is to see what different people choose to manifest in how they use their cards. Yeah.
That's really cool. Will we be able to run our cards by you and like get tweaks or things like that? Is that like...
Yeah. So what I like, what I think is ideal is for someone to just post their card to the Facebook group. Okay. Obviously, if it's hyper personal and they don't want to do that, then there's a different way of going about it. But you can post your card to the Facebook group and people can say like, oh, wow, that language really resonates with me. Or I'll give you an example. I'm in a mastermind group, and one of the women in my mastermind group presented her 12-week goal over the course of our 3 months together. And her 12-week goal was negative language. I want to not feel X.
Oh, okay.
And so it was really easy for me to say, wow, there's something about that, the not, that first of all doesn't resonate with the subconscious very well. And second of all, it just feels like a downer. It feels like you're pointing at the thing you don't
you're
want.
running away from, but you don't know where you're going.
What you're running towards. Exactly. So that's something that like really anyone in the group could very quickly say, oh, wow, that didn't really work for me. And the thing is that as a collective, people can help come up with ideas for steps you can take to move forward that maybe one person isn't going to come up with. And that's something you see in the book a lot, of all of the students having different perspectives and being able to offer ideas to whoever it is that's dealing with their goal in the moment that one person on their own couldn't think of. Mind you, Dave and I thought of these things together. It's just two of us, but still, it feels like these people are real.
They are, because they're in your book.
Yeah.
So they're real. My kids are reading books all the time, and sometimes it just cracks me up how they talk about these people. It's as if they're having whole conversations here on the... Yes, Connor and Alex are real. She just screamed that. They have to be real. There's just no other way. The entire family is like, and Baruch Hashem, I have 3 reading girls, who are all reading on high level. So they're all having these conversations back and forth, and it cracks me up. And it's amazing.
Oh, they totally have to read The Size of Your Dreams. They'll like it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get it. We're going to take turns. But it's just amazing. It's so fun to bring to life. That's exactly what you're doing. Just like, I think also just journaling or writing down your thoughts, you're bringing them to life.
What's so fun is the opportunity that Dave and I have when we write books together, because we've both written books on our own independently, but to write books together, it's so much fun because we come up with story ideas, particularly on walks and hikes. We'll have a problem with a character and we're kind of like chewing it over and trying to figure it out. One of my favorite family moments was when we were in Ecuador on a hike, and we didn't realize, but we went off the trail. And by the time we caught on to the fact that we were off the trail, we were very, very, very far into the bush off the trail. And I was getting a little bit scared. And, the sun was starting to set. It was a little freaky. But we got deep into the conversation about our latest book, The Cash Machine, which teaches principles for building financial independence. And we were really stuck on how to do the ending of this book.
Right.
And in the middle of this conversation, our son, who at the time was 14, 13, 14,
okay,
said, hey, why don't you do a wedding hack? Which was a term that he made up in that moment. And we're like, tell us about it. And he came up with this whole idea. I'm not going to reveal it because it's the end of the book. And he came up with this whole idea. And we were like, that's so good. And that's literally the ending of the book.
Wow.
And how cool is that, right? For your kid to come up with it.
That is so cool.
And to talk about these characters as though they're real. And it's like, oh, let's do that. And, my husband writes a scene. I'm like, oh, she wouldn't say that.
I know, because we know.
Right, of course.
What was I going to tell you about the Haggadah? So my kids really, really want me to make a kids version with like illustrations and comics and stories and explanations about how the Seder is actually going to happen. Because the whole Haggadah premise is that there's a Korban Pesach at the table. Okay? Right. That's how the whole thing started. My husband did all this research for years and years and years and found that we are going to have Korban Pesach, Bezrat Hashem, one day, say Amen, and then nobody's going to know what to do. Everybody's just going to be like, who's the oldest guy here who can make a decision? And the oldest guy's going to be like, I never thought about this. I don't know. And then they're all going to be like, what do we do now? I don't know. And nobody's going to know because they never did this because it's been so long. We don't even have a grandparent who remembers how things used to be done. So all we have is just like the Rambam and certain halachos that tell us what things have to be. And then from there, my husband just put it all together and tweaked the Seder to line up. Because like there's no more afikomen, for example, because there's no more matzah. Afikomen is actual meat. So, and you only have to eat like an olive size, whatever.
So he wrote it to be like for when there's a third temple?
Yes. You don't actually have to. You don't need the temple. You have to just give the Korban Pesach on the makom of the mizbeach, whatever. But like, yes, for when there is a Korban Pesach and all of the Jews gather, and you have to sleep over in Jerusalem within the walls. There's like so many cool things that are going on, and it became so alive in our family that we were just like talking about it for real, like absolutely not as a like wish and dream about something that was going to happen one day when you guys are old and maybe we'll merit to see it too, but like this year. And so it became so real. And now that Corona happened and it feels even closer, we're like, Hashem is putting us through this birth. It hurts. It's not comfortable, but like, we're closer. Then they're like, we have to do it for kids. We have to explain it with comics and with illustrations and with the whole story and, whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much work, but I so want to do this. And I
so why don't they do it?
I will do it.
Why don't they do it?
Oh, my kids? Yeah, I could have an 8-year-old in charge of this project and see that it goes through.
but no, like in all seriousness, like the Hartman Institute published the Haggadah that has a lot of kids drawings in it.
It's a familial idea that's building itself. I am totally in it. I think that it would be so cool. Like my husband's working on the English now. And I want to take all of his English stuff once it's ready and lower the level to children's, and then also add all the explanations to it. That's like my goal. And of course, I have a ton of fears and reasons why it can't be done. You're just gonna have to help me through it in the course. Like it has to get done. But I'm so scared, and I'm a graphic designer, and I'm a perfectionist, and I want it to be really, really good, and I need to hire an illustrator, and where am I going to find an illustrator? And
I think your kids can draw it all. I'm serious.
I think we can, yeah. But it's it's a little scary. It's a little scary to even say it out loud in a live Facebook thing.
Yeah, now you have to do it. No choice. That's it. It's public. You're done.
So if you want to sponsor this, go ahead. Talk to me. No, for real. And like, if you're an illustrator and you want to work it with us, go ahead. Do that too. It's like so cool how sometimes you say it and you think of all these things that can't happen, but then they could totally happen. Okay, before we close, what is the main thing that you want people to turn to now?
So I would love people who haven't read the book to click on the free download link, get themselves a free copy of the book. If they want to explore more about this course that's starting on Sunday, I highly recommend they click on that link also. The course is $99 US. And if you sign up with a buddy, your buddy gets 50% off. So It's, we've really tried to make it a very affordable course. That's literally what I charge for 1 hour of coaching with me. And you're getting not just 12 hours of coaching with me in addition to the Facebook group, you're getting also, with my husband together. And we coach people all the time. It's like just our life's mission and purpose. And then if they sign up with you, it's like even more so, right? They get to these extra Thursday groups, which is really incredible to have all that extra support.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, I'm super excited because once we're all in it together, even if you don't actually come to the Thursday meeting, like we send each other things and like, I like that. I like making friends. I like, having that. It's something I missed during Corona.
Party. Right.
I'm all alone. So that's really cool. Yeah, I posted the link to the free ebook and also to the course. And I'm super excited about Sunday. I really am excited. I plugged it into my schedule and everybody knows in the house, this is what we're doing at that time. And that's it.
Awesome.
But by the way, somebody asked, what if they can't make it that time? Will it be recorded and they could watch it in the morning?
Yes. So we're always recording it. And as soon as the recording goes live, we share it to the entire group. I just had that in the course that I just ran. One of the participants lived in Australia, and I can't hit Australia and the United States at the same time. It's just not feasible. So she always watched the recording. And we also had people, we had people in every country, you name it. And sometimes they could arrive, be there, and sometimes they couldn't. And so people who couldn't, they just watched the recording, and that's totally fine.
Okay, cool. So the recording's available. So it's not like if you can't come exactly at 7, then you miss out.
Right.
Okay, awesome. And then is there any homework or things is every class based on action steps?
There's always homework because we're big fans of homework. We want people to get as much juice out of a course. It's not like you sit there for 2 hours and then you're done, particularly when you're talking about a course that's teaching all about manifestation and goal setting. Your homework really has a lot to do with manifesting the goals you set for yourself over the course. So,
okay. Do you think that if a person's already overwhelmed and feels like they're so much in their life, but they really want to do the course, is it something they should worry about? I don't think I could do so much homework, but I want to still come. Is it worth it for them? Will they get a lot out of it?
Most of the homework that we gives you space to decide, how far you want to take it. And as with anything, the more you invest, the more you're going to get out of it. But at the very least, you're going to learn tools that you can take with you for the rest of your life. And the more work you do to integrate those tools, the more they're going to stick. Otherwise, you go back and you review them again at some other point. But really trying as much as you can to, infuse your day with these tools, infuse it in the way that you think, the way that you see, the way you interact. But one of the things we love about the note cards is the note cards is 5 minutes a day.
Okay. Because I'm thinking homework, carve out time in your day and be very focused on homework. But really you're saying it's just a mindset thing or being present or thinking about certain things while walking.
It's also carving time in your day. Depending on the assignment, it's also carving time in your day. Sometimes it's carving time to check in with your buddy. So you could do that while you're doing dishes. You could both be doing dishes and talking on the phone or something like that. Or I sometimes have meetings while I'm on the treadmill or going for a walk or doing yoga or doing dishes or cooking. I try to use that time as double time for other goals that I have. Yeah.
Cool. I really like your guarantee. I think that was one of the coolest things that not only will you get your money back, but we believe it's so much more worth it than what the value is just incredible.
We're big fans on value. We're very big fans on, not feeling like you have to take all the risk and that the person providing you a service takes none.
Yeah. It just feels so it takes away a little bit of the fear of what if I pay all this money and I don't get enough of whatever? What if I commit and then I don't actually feel like it's for me? It's okay, fine. Sababa. Doesn't have to be for everyone. I think that understanding that you're just open for people to find if this is good for them instead of having to worry is such a nice thing. So
another thing I want to share is that just in the past couple of days, because of feedback that we got from people who really wanted more information about exactly what's in the course, we really changed the website and have put a lot more information. We changed the video to give people a lot more info. So if there are people who've been following you and they feel like they already checked it out, I recommend you check it out again, just so that you can get more information and more details and stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. This was so fun.
Thanks so much for having me.
So psyched about she is going to be awesome anywhere she ends up because it's just the best. Who cares? Yeah, I'm going to have to do a video, by the way, about my process with finding high schools. I feel like I learned so much. I can't not share it, but it's scary. But yeah.
Wishing you so much luck with that and excited to see you on Sunday. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.